Alright, so this is my first ever proper, in quotation marks, this is the way I'm seeing it, proper YouTube video. So I've, for the past few years, bit of context, been making beats every day for about 4-5 years now, posting on YouTube for 3-4 years now. My DAW of choice is Logic Pro. I don't really focus on a genre, I do all types of genres, any type of music. I'm feeling like I love all types of music from all languages. And so right now the channel's kind of splitting into two halves. Every day I'll be posting a beat, that's not stopping, that's not changing. And then once a week, maybe more times, depending on the feedback I get and the time that's available to me in a week, I'll try and do at least one a week, a video like this where I'm teaching you something or I'm talking about music, getting to better know my audience and my audience to know me. So this is the first video I'm doing. I thought it'd be quite cool to talk about, and maybe in a couple years I can make an updated version, but this is 5 reasons why you're not getting better at producing. And I mean that with no arrogance or no entitlement. I'm nowhere near being where I can be. I'm still learning, but I think we can all learn and we can learn from each other. So even though I might not be a complete professional, I feel like them definitely at least 5 things I could teach you. So this is a video regardless of your understanding or your experience in producing, this will be a good watch. So yeah, enjoy. And also enjoy the background footage of me making a beat. This beat is the one I'm posting today, so it'll be in the description. Alright, so number 1. I find that a lot of people are they're too concerned with what other people think about what they're doing. So the main thing I had such a problem was I'd get halfway through a beat, I'd get 3/4 of the way through a beat, and I'd think, nah, this doesn't sound how I want it to sound. Because when you're still developing that skill of transitioning your thoughts onto the screen, into people's ears, it's a difficult skill. You've never done it up until that point, so it's such an alien feeling. So when you have such a sick melody in your head, or you've got a chord progression in your head, and you just can't get that onto the door, onto whatever, it might feel disheartening. So I found myself, I was in the rhythm of just deleting beats. I was getting 3/4 way through, halfway through, an hour into it, and I was like, nah, this is dead, and I delete it. And there's no growth in that. If you're not seeing these projects through, you're not learning the skills you need to learn. You're only getting 10 minutes into every project, so you're not learning the skills of fading it out or getting the elements you've built. And now this is different for everyone, but the way I produce is I produce blocks. I'll produce 4 or 6 bars. I'll do my chord progression, my melody, my bass, then all my percussion, and then I'll kind of I'll make them like Lego blocks, and I'll build a beat out of these Lego blocks. So for me, if I'm not getting all the way through a beat, then I'm not learning how to use these Lego blocks, if you get what I'm saying. So I feel like the key is to just jump into it, just start producing. So that's why I started this channel. I was like, I'm gonna produce every day and I'm gonna post it online. It doesn't matter if it's not to a standard yet, 5-star level yet. If I don't post it, if I don't do it, it's never gonna get like that. So I think it's understanding that you need to just take the plunge, you need to just take the dive, you need to just do it, because if you don't do it, you're never gonna get there. So that's definitely just produce, consume. Like the media you need to consume, it needs to be orientated, or it doesn't need to be, but it helps if the videos you're watching are about making beats, about singing, about rapping, whatever it is. You need to become obsessed with it. Your life needs to run around it. So that's what I did every day. It doesn't matter if I'm sick, it doesn't mean if I need to go somewhere from on holiday, whatever, the beat is getting done every day and it's getting posted every day. And that routine, it lets you to just build on your skills, and it makes you learn what you're good at and what you're not good at, because you get in physical feedback. People are liking the video or they're not, people are commenting on the video or they're not, people are viewing it or not. So you learn what you're getting good at, what you're not getting good at. I think it's really important to just start producing and go from there. Another problem is focusing on other people's progress is dangerous. It's good to look to see what other people are doing and taking notes and learning from other people, but if you're constantly thinking this person has this many subscribers, or this person has this many views, or this person is doing this and that, it's not healthy. You need to focus on what you're doing. You need to focus on why you're doing it. So if you're making beats, I'd hope it's because you like music and you like to make beats. For me personally, that's why I do it. I enjoy it. It's fun. I think it's sick. So you just focus on that. Remember why you're doing it. If you're sitting there 3-4 hours, hour, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, doesn't matter. If you're getting to the point where you're like, this isn't constructive, this session isn't going anywhere, this isn't helpful, this isn't a good use of my time, and it's not a constructive mindset you've got, you need to just take a break, take a breath, go eat, go do something else, and then come back to it. Because if you're in that mindset, you're going to spend an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and you're going to start to resent making music, and you're going to think that's what you're not like. But really, it's not that you're not enjoying making music, you're just not enjoying making the music the way you're making it currently. So you need to transition from jealousy isn't the right word, sometimes it can be, but you need to focus on what you're doing, and the rest will just fall into place. And I think with a lot of these, you'll find that I'm just saying that the rest will fall into place, and it's for lack of better words, like, you just have to trust the process. It's a creative journey, so there is no step 1, 2, 3, 4, and anyone who told you that is lying. You just need to figure out what works for you, and at the end of the day, enjoyment and passion is the most important. If you like making beats that only have a melody, no percussion, then make beats that only have melodies. If you like making beats that are 20 minutes long, then make the beats. Just make them however you want to make them. And your audience will find itself, or it won't, but that doesn't matter. That's not why you should be making beats. You should just be making them because you enjoy being creative. Another really big problem that can really mess up your perspective on music and really injure you long term is taking, I'm going to call it this, taking too much inspiration. What I mean by that is, in a sense, plagiarizing or copying. You alter your creative process to such an extent that your creative process is no longer your creative process. So you're just following how someone else does it. So if they do ABC, you do ABC. If they do CBE, you do CBE. Like, that's not gonna work in the long term. You might be able to make one beat like that or 2 beats like that, but there's more that meets the eye. So if you watch a YouTuber and he shows you how to make a beat, that's not all that is in that beat. You're overlooking the fact that for them to get to this stage, they had to practice and practice and practice, so that they have a level of expertise and understanding of their process that you just can't have, because you've not made that process and you've not learned that process. So they've refined it over months, years, whatever, and you're just taking it now. So of course you're gonna hit like a blockade almost. So it's like, okay, what would this person do? And that's not really good. Of course, take inspiration and look up to people and have idols and all that sort of stuff, but like, also try and be your own person, be your own creative voice, and be distinguished. Think, what is my thing? What do I like doing? And then apply that to your beats. Like I said, me personally, I love a good flute. A lot of my beats have a flute. I like flutes. So that's me. That's kind of my touch. If I wanted to add some sauce to a beat, I'll slap a flute on there, or high octave flute. It just sounds nice. That's what I like. So for you could make some more beats with flutes, but if you make every beat a flute beat, are they really your beats at that point? Like, you can make every beat a flute beat, but now you need to add your own thing to it. But I just don't see much value in copying other people anyway. Like, yeah, you can nod to other people, maybe have elements from other producers and stuff like that, but just mainly keep it your own, keep it original. And I feel you'll have a lot more fun with it, and it will flow a lot more easily. One thing that seems quite obvious to me, but you might not have actually thought of, is the idea of being too hard on yourself or putting too much pressure on yourself, being too negative or expecting too much. It kind of ties into the first one, but if you set these unachievable goals, these unrealistic expectations, like, oh, I'm gonna make an absolute banger in your first week or in your first month, like, you might, but if you are artificially almost forcing these results that are very difficult to achieve, if you then don't achieve them, which is completely fine for you to not be perfect at producing, if you've set this level and you've set these expectations and you put all this pressure on yourself, then you're going to feel like you're not doing well when you actually are doing pretty well in terms of generally how well people do in a month or how well people do in a year or with your circumstances. But if you're putting all this pressure on yourself, you're just going to hate it. You're going to think, oh, I'm doing so bad, I'm not good at anything. Like, there's these aren't healthy thoughts, and they're definitely not going to make you a better producer. Of course, some level of pressure and urgency is always going to help you get better faster, but there's a level to it. You need to... Common sense is key. If you're getting seriously stressed out, if it's negatively affecting your creative process, it's too much. It's no good. It's not going to help no one. So sit back, look at the bigger picture. Look at a year down the line, look at a week down the line, look at a day down the line, look in 3 hours. In 3 hours, are you still going to feel the same about what you're thinking right now? I guess my final point is addressing the idea of waiting for the right time, in terms of the right time to start. Maybe to start posting it online or to start producing. Maybe you're waiting for enough money to get a certain thing, or enough money to buy a certain plugin, a certain computer, a certain door, whatever it is. Maybe you are waiting till a certain time of the year to start releasing stuff, or maybe you're waiting till you get to a certain level before you start releasing stuff. I don't think, in my personal experience, what worked for me, and what works for me, it's not necessarily going to work for you, but what worked for me was just diving in the deep end, just posting stuff online, just learning through failure. I feel like if you learn through failure, you're going to become mentally resilient. You're going to have a certain level of understanding and of gratitude and appreciation for people who support you and are there with you on your journey, and you're going to have a better gratitude for your skill set and how far you've come, because you can scroll back and see, like me, you can check my channel. I'll throw up an example of one of the first beats I made, and one most recently, or one of my favorites. So this is one of my first beats that I made, one of the first few that I posted online.
Bruh.
As you can see, it's not bad, but it's not great. It's got a lot wrong with it technically, and it's got a lot, you can see where I was trying to get a point across, but I couldn't quite flesh it out to a certain level. This is one of my favorite beats, a much more recent beat, and I feel like the difference is so obvious. I've learned so many more skills, and I'm sure in a couple years I'll be saying the same thing about this particular beat that I said about the one that I just played. But that's how it works, and that's the beautiful thing about learning a new skill, especially music production.
I said it last year, Yeah, boy.
And you can see the difference is night and day. It's crazy. And in the moment, I might have thought the beats were a lot better than I do think now, but obviously I knew that, oh, I'm just starting out. I think at the point I started posting some of these videos, I was like 6 to 8 months in. The key is just start doing it. Like, you don't need a computer to be producing. You can produce. There's apps. I would argue that I'm not completely knowledgeable on these apps. Some of them are alright, I've tried some of them, but like you can get GarageBand on your phone or your iPad, or like you can get things in browsers. The web browser doors, they're actually getting a lot better. I might make some videos on them, they're quite cool. But yeah, music is everywhere. Even if you just learn to play an instrument, or you just record cool noises and make beats out of that, or you like tap rhythms, whatever it is, it doesn't need to be what you've got in your head as a producer. You don't have to start there. You can get there, and I think the process of getting there will make you better in the meanwhile. So instead of waiting a year to get enough money to buy a laptop or whatever it is you need to buy, or whatever you think you need to buy, start now, and then in a year you'll get that thing and you'll have a year's experience as well. And I feel like that's key, because my mindset at least is that if you make small adjustments every day, by this time next year you'll be a completely different person. You'll be so much better at whatever you put your mind to. So I feel like that's really key. It's really important. Alright, so to all of you that are still watching, I'd like to say thanks. I really appreciate all the support you guys have been giving me on my beats and stuff like that. So this time next week I should be posting another video, maybe even before, but just drop in the comments some future video ideas, what you guys want to see, what you guys thought of this video, anything that was good with this video. Give me some feedback, because I'm kind of going in blind here. I've never done anything like this before. This is my first time doing something like this. It's a lot different to the usual content I post, so I'll be intrigued to see how you guys respond to it. I hope this helps some people. I'd love to have some conversations about things I've discussed or other topics in the comments. My contact information, if you'd like to purchase or lease any of my beats, is in the description as well. So yeah, have a great day.